Hi, it's Susanna Choi. I have Joe Sanchez on the phone. Joe, first of all, I want to apologize. It's been really hard. My father died in November. I'm suing the NYPD in internal affairs in federal court. And on top of it, my mother was so ill that she had to go to the hospital. So I have not been able to work on the documentary, but we have news. When we wrote Commissioner Kelly and Mayor Bloomberg, we heard nothing. You wrote Commissioner Bratton along with three other police officers. So tell us what happened.
Well, my partner, Herman Velez, he wrote a letter to the PC, the police commissioner, to Police Commissioner Bratton, and the legal department, the legal bureau of the NYPD sent him a letter saying that as far as your partner, Joe Sanchez, possibility more or less of reinstatement is denied, and we thank you for your support. And retired Detective Eddie Martinez also wrote a letter to the police commissioner on my behalf, and he more or less got the same letter. And I also received a letter saying denied, and that's as far as it's gotten. And no explanation or anything, no courtesy from Police Commissioner Bratton.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear it too. Okay, so what's going to happen now is I need a little bit of time, but I'm going to be sending Commissioner Bratton and Mayor de Blasio a letter. I'm going to express concerns. I'm going to say, based on all the medals, I'm showing a picture, you have a ton of medals on your chest. Those cannot be bought. There are people that have done. There's mafia cops that there are NYPD officers that committed murder. They're in jail. They're getting their pension. You don't even ask for a pension. And the retired New York State Assemblyman, who's a lawyer from Yale, what's his name?
Nelson Dennis.
Yeah, Nelson Dennis. He wants you to get back pay and a pension. But you said you didn't even want that. So to me, it's like, well, we got one better step than Kelly. Kelly was nothing. And now we got the legal saying, sorry, but no. So I'm going to have to ask questions because one of the police officers that wrote at the time that you were suspended was it the president of the Hispanic Society for the NYPD?
Eddie Martinez who
right.
had a job in 1957, yes.
So, I mean...
He was the president of the Hispanic...
Yeah.
He was the president of the Hispanic Society back in 1976.
For the NYPD?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to be writing is, Mr. de Blasio, Mr. Bratton, is this some kind of prejudice against Hispanics? Because to me, Joe is an amazing guy. Now, we hear from the legal department. We didn't even have the courtesy of a response from him, but from Mr. Bratton. But, if there's some roadblock in your file that we don't know about, or maybe there's something because you were a whistleblower and they sabotaged your career because you were a real, I believe, a hero, arresting a lot of crooks. You made cops that weren't working hard look bad. You sometimes did challenge authority. And when you saw your supervisors using cars, off-duty police cars, you spoke up. There were things you said. So I feel like they wanted to harm you. So I'm gonna write and say, look, if there's any roadblock or anything, this gentleman, Joe Sanchez, he has a right to know. And I'm going to include all the petition, all the people that signed the petition. And we'd really like to know because we believe that Joe Sanchez should be reinstated. So I might need a couple weeks to do that, but that's my goal. Let's see. I might need two to 3 weeks to get that done, but that's my goal. So what else do you have to say? Anything else?
Well, if there's anything in my file, I want to know about it because I was brought up on charges also for falsely accusing a lieutenant of corruption. And when I went to the department trial room, they gave me 15 days because I committed an egregious act that I was falsely accusing this lieutenant. And Internal Affairs never came back for me. They should have told the department he is working for us. In regards to this lieutenant, we wired him up. We got the information. How could you find him guilty for 15 days? And the only reason they found me guilty for 15 days was because they said I had an exemplary record, that I had a good record, an unblemished record. I have that file with me at home.
Okay, so Joe, let's wait. Okay, so let's think about it. Let's say that based on my interview of 2 internal affairs officers, it seemed like at that time and to this day with my own experience with internal affairs, my experience, I haven't found one good, honest internal affairs officer. My experience now in 2013 to 2014. The cops that coerced me, which is a crime, they weren't arrested. So my experience, they were bad. But at your time, I can tell you there were 2 good internal affairs officers, but they had no idea about this case. And I want viewers to understand that we had 2 internal affairs officers speak up that investigated. One investigated you, one knew about you and had interactions with you and knew that you were a good, honest cop. So it seems to me that the way the police department worked at that time, it was like there were 2 internal affairs. There were the internal affairs guys that were trying to do the right and be honest, and I interviewed the guy that investigated you. But it also seems that there was this other internal affairs that in fact worked with the lieutenant and the captain in the precinct where you blew the whistle and helped to shut you down and get you fired. Am I correct?
You're correct. You're correct. It's a shame that that's the way that the police department works. And unfortunately, I was just a soldier. I'm a number, and they eliminated me, and that's it.
Well, look at it. Adrian Schoolcraft, what's changed? I mean, Adrian doesn't have your record. He hasn't achieved what you achieved. But look what they've done to him. So, I mean, one of his guy is suing him. So, nobody sued you because you tell the truth. But anyway, they sued Adrian, and Adrian's telling truth. So I think the lawsuit by his captain will be thrown out, in my opinion.
Yes, and I'm sorry that Charlie Joe Hines did not give you the courtesy of giving you that 5 minutes, 10 minutes interview, in regards to my case, and just saying, yes, I dismissed the case on Joe Sanchez because he was wrongfully indicted and arrested. And I'm so sorry that he left office before, he could have had a chance to really help me out.
I know, but Joe,
he didn't do it for me.
Okay, but Joe, the reason he didn't do it is because of my politics. I was not going to vote for him. I was a critic of him and Vito Lopez. And so he retaliated against you because of my politics. But we have his letters, and they don't grow old. We have his letter and the juror's letter. So that's despite me, and that was a concern your partner Herman had talked about. So don't remember, just Joe and I have talked about it. We believe in God. We believe God sees all. And my soul's clean. I think, Joe, your soul's clean and clear, right?
Yes, it is. And I wish Charlie Joe Hines the best in life. I mean, he's 78 years old, and I wish him the best. I mean, he didn't come through for me, but that's okay. God bless him.
Well, look at it. Look how he ended his career, Joe. Maybe he couldn't come through for you because he was in such bad shape. Nobody wants to exit the way he exited office. It was a horrible, horrible way. So just remember, that's not how you want to exit. So in a weird way, when he didn't speak up for you, it's almost like he got a little taste of the medicine right there. Except you were out on the street risking your life every day that you went out there, and even when the day was done, if you saw something, you still did something. So, you're the real deal, and we'll keep working on it. But I wanted to update our audience. Thanks a lot, Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks. You have 150 words to write the police commissioner. To Mayor de Blasio, Commissioner Bill Bratton, Inspector Kerry Sweet, Deputy Commissioner Susan Herman, I made history with an internal affairs lieutenant who investigated stating charges against Joe Sanchez unfounded. If there's a roadblock in Joe's file, I do feel Mr. Bratton and Inspector Sweet disrespected Mr. Sanchez and then NYPD President of the Hispanic Society, retired Detective Eddie Martinez, by a denial with no explanation. I made a YouTube today addressing the legal department denial and concerns of how Hispanic NYPD officers that contributed as powerfully as Herman Velez, who even flew Mr. Bratton in an NYPD helicopter, was treated as well. I'll be writing an official letter to you in a few weeks asking Mr. de Blasio's administration, Mr. Bratton, Ms. Herman, to please treat these men with respect, and I'll include approximately 150 signatures asking for Joe's reinstatement. Joe's story can be read right now in Precincts by magazine NYBlue Now. In Precincts right now.